What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are going to be covering Legion of X, issue number 4. This X-Men title has no affiliation with Judgment Day. In fact, the events in this comic are taking place prior to Judgment Day. What we have seen so far is Nightcrawler and his Legionnaires. They just recently captured the one known as Switch, jumping from person to person, inhabiting their bodies, and doing mild to very crazy things inside of their body. Believing that they finally caught their Skinjacker, there is a lot more to this case that they do not understand. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, you have liked this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so we are covering this issue first this morning, and that's because I want Immortal X-Men and X-Men Red to be going out at the same time together, because those two issues are just so phenomenally good. You have to watch those back to back. Since this one doesn't really tie into the story, this is going to be the first one we published this morning. We are starting off at the altar. We see Paulie DaCosta standing guard over Switch. Kind of a genie in the bottle. Runes all over this vase so he can't escape. The only problem, somebody comes in here. They snap the neck of Paulie, and then they release Switch. Taking us over to Krakoa, we have Weaponless Zsen and Nightcrawler. The two of them have just enjoyed a night together. Throughout this issue, the two of them have some serious debate. A very intellectual conversation about duty, about principle, and what they truly stand for. Now, Weaponless Zsen, she wants to report back to Aura, the giant eyeball, the Arbitrix, the one that sent her to find this god of mischief that escaped from Arakkii, the one that is helping Switch. And while Nightcrawler may believe that she is all about duty, getting the job done, it's kind of hypocritical for him to say, considering his principles and religion are so founded in everything going on, creating the altar, the Legionnaires, all of this, that he clings to this idea of God, the spark, all of it, believing that simply interpretation is the only difference between her obligation to duty and his obligation to religion. But she does put Nightcrawler into question, because at the end of the day, it sounds like the only rules he wants to follow are the ones that he's allowed to bend, the ones that can have a little bit of give in them. Now, headed over to the beach on Krakoa, we have the Juggernaut, who is having a conversation with Charles Xavier. Xavier had never wanted Juggernaut on the Legionnaires. One reason is because of what just happened. Juggernaut pretty much paved his way through the forest of Krakoa, damaging the forest of Krakoa. At one point in time, this was an offense that could get you thrown in the pit. But this is when we have the arrival of Legion, because while Juggernaut didn't really find the guy he was looking for, the truth is, Legion believes that he has been hiding out in the no places. That's when Juggernaut gets frozen. Charles Xavier essentially pausing everything around him and Legion, taking off his helmet. He lets Legion know that this place needs some secrets, but he does promise him that after Moira, the no places have been destroyed. Of course, Legion doesn't believe this for a freaking second. Mid-conversation, this is when Legion lets him know that his eyebrow, it is missing. One of them. This is undoubtedly the work of Switch. Going around and doing stupid little pranks like this is on the small end of what he has been doing. It's really just whatever he wants. Doing this while Charles Xavier was asleep, having the power of a god backing him up. This is the only way that he was able to do this. Not only that, Legion is theorizing that the Skinjacker made him forget about the no places. Xavier saying that's not possible. He does tell him the problem with secrets is that the men who control them forget that they are as fallible as everybody else. This is where Legion goes off into the woods and has a conversation with Warlock, because he can sense all of Krakoan's no places. But right now he is detecting nothing nearby. Legion believing that this is because the power of the god. It is masking whatever is trying to be hidden. That includes the no places. And Legion does thank Warlock for this information, for helping him out, but he also has to wonder why. The why is simple. Legion is the one that brought news that Warlock's father had ceased to live. He did it personally. This meant a lot to Warlock, and so he wanted to do something to give him back. And throughout this comic, we continue to cut back to the conversation of Nightcrawler and Weaponless Zsen. These are really just conversations about ethics, about life, about duty, about faith. Weaponless Zsen is really making Nightcrawler see himself for what he is. Her mutant ability is to see the true self of people. She is able to paint it, and so she sees everything that Nightcrawler would deny himself to be. Nightcrawler arriving somewhere on Krakoa, we find that the Skinjacker has yet jumped into another person, somehow getting free from his vase. This is when Chamber unloads. Pretty much a freaking napalm blast, completely obliterating the body that the Skinjacker had jumped into. It doesn't take long for Switch to jump into the body of Chamber, turning on the Legionnaires. Chamber unleashes a volcano on them. One by one, the mutants are getting taken down. This is when we see Dust. Switch somehow in the body of Dust, but being nothing but dust, letting Nightcrawler in, steering him directly towards the darkness, not giving Switch an opportunity to really make a choice. He hops into the body of Nightcrawler, and that is when Nightcrawler attempts to make communications with the god. This is where we see Weaponless Zsen. She has returned to Arakkii, and she is looking at the devastation that this god of mischief has done, though she should be reporting back to the Arbitrix. She is taking her time, really trying to see this investigation from another perspective, especially after her conversation with Nightcrawler. But it doesn't take long for the mutants of Arakkii to build back everything that was destroyed. Not only do they build it back, they build it back better and stronger, taking us to the body of Switch. Currently having the consciousness taken over, Nightcrawler is in this body. Standing before him is the god of mischief. Though Switch is currently bound and blindfolded, Nightcrawler can only speak through his body and hear. This is when he tries to bargain with him, tries to have a conversation and figure out what this is all about, trying to let this god know that his messenger, his worshipper, right now is laying waste, hurting people, doing terrible and horrible things. Trying to let him know that he is nothing more than a prisoner, being kept like a dog on a leash, telling Nightcrawler to remove his blindfolds, to see that this god is nothing more than a fabrication. It is nothing more than patchwork, stolen fragments of myth and stories, copies of broken beliefs, not being a god of mischief, being a god of all of them. This god has been patched together from stories across the eons, from the helm of Loki to the feathers and fruits of Eris. This is tumult. Someone has created this god. Someone has patched him together. Nightcrawler, he is in absolute disbelief, not understanding who could possibly have the power to create a god. This god lets him know that it really doesn't matter at this point. He exists by the will of those that believe in him. Of course, Nightcrawler, he rejects the idea that this god, this faith, is nothing more than a quick invention, a cocktail of stories and ideas, both of them calling out each other's flaws. Nightcrawler lets him know that maybe, just maybe, it is time that both of us try something different. Perhaps it is time that they try to believe in themselves. Taking us back over to Arakkii, we have Legion, who is at Olympus Mons, as he is about to take off and go to the altar. This is where Nightcrawler comes out of left field. This, though, is not Nightcrawler. Possessing the body of Nightcrawler, Switch is trying to jump into Legion. Weaponless Zsen has made her way back to the Arbitrix, trying to find the giant eyeball of a mutant to give the report. The problem is, she is late. The Arbitrix has already left, but the guards were given very strict instructions to kill Weaponless Zsen. Jumping back over to Nightcrawler and the god. The god gives Nightcrawler the opportunity to explain himself, even if he were to give up all of this, to believe in himself, to worship in himself, to sacrifice to himself. He is hunted, and Arakkii is trying with great effort to drag him back so they can slaughter him. Nightcrawler telling him that he did cause chaos all across Arakkii, that he should be answering for that. But there is a possibility that he could go to Krakoa and possibly get sanctuary. But this god lets us know that the only damage he ever did, the only turmoil he ever caused, he did as his first acolyte entreated him to do, fleeing from her because she was misusing his magic. And so he hid in this place, clinging to the obedience of Switch, because if she does find him, he is going to the Circle Perilous, and she will end him with a single look. This is when Nightcrawler pieces it together. The worshipper, the one who first brought him to Arakkii, the one who made him cause all of this chaos. It was in fact Aura, the giant eyeball mutant, the arbitrix of Arakkii, who is currently outside the Outcast Gate. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, this issue, this series as a whole, it's been okay. You know, it's not something that's absolutely amazing. It's not blowing my mind like X-Men Red and Immortal X-Men, which again, make sure that you guys watch those videos as soon as I post them up. They will be coming out after this one, continuing on Judgment Day. It's absolutely phenomenal. X-Men Red, we actually have Legion making a freaking appearance. But I like that there are some X-Men line that are not going to be all tie-ins to Judgment Day. I like that this story is set aside from that, and we're really learning who Aura is, the Omega level seer. We have to think, what does she have planned? What has she seen? We know that Aura is not one to change the state of events, not even for her benefit. So what is the Arbitrix up to, and what is the true purpose of all of this? And it's nice to see Weaponless Zsen and Nightcrawler together. They are truly starting to form a relationship and form a bond, having very serious, ethical, and intellectual conversations. I think this is exactly what both of them need, even if it's not a long-term relationship or anything of that nature. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything going on with this series, be sure to check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by hitting the Super Thanks button. This button will let you donate directly to the channel, and every little bit helps us out. Now, if you can't do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and until the next breakdown.